Hello everyone, welcome to TechCent, and let's continue with this Python tutorial. Overall, we did 5 videos about all Python data types. If you want, go to the description and check them out. But today, we will talk about type conversion. Type conversion means convert the data type of a value to another data type. For example, converting a string to an integer. But how to typecast or how to convert? Now that I'm in PyCharm, let's start with declaring some variables. I'm going to teach you how to declare multiple variables on one line. Let me name my first variable. It's going to be x. I'm going to use a colon and then y and then z and then c. Then I'm going to assign for each of these variables a data. Let's say x will store 12. Y will store a floating point number, which is 12.4. Z will store a string, and C will store also a string. Right now, let us start with the concept of type conversion. As we see over here, x stores an integer, which is 12. Let's say I want this 12 to become a floating point number. How to do that? Well, we use type conversion. Let me show it to you. I'm gonna say print, and to convert an integer to a floating point number, we use the float function and mention the variable, which is x. We got 12.0. Now we know that 12 has been converted to a floating point number. How do we know that? Well, it has a decimal point. Now, if you want to make this conversion permanent, you need to reassign the variable. Let me show it to you. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to say x equals float x. Well, we got 12.0. Next, we have the variable y, which stores a floating point number. Let's say I want to convert this floating point number to an integer. Well, we use the int function. So first let me reassign my variable and I'm going to use the int function and mention the variable in parentheses. Then I'm going to print y and we should get 12. Yup, we got 12. That's because we converted 12.4, which is a floating point number, to an integer. Now, before you continue, do you think we can print a number with a string using the plus operator? Well, let's check this out. If I said print and I said y plus %, do you think it will work? Wait a minute, we got a problem. That's because I'm telling Python to add a floating point number with a string. And we know that we cannot perform math operation with a string. So how can I print the 12.4%? Well, all I need to do is convert it into a string. To do that, I'm gonna use the str function and str. Right now, I won't get an error and I will be able to print 12.4%. And we got 12.4%. If you want the space between them, you can just space it out from here and then 12.4%. Now, there's a way to print a number without converting it to a string. So let me show it to you. I'm gonna write print y, %. And we got 12.4%. But I used this expression just for the sake of this tutorial. Well, now you might be asking, why the hell should we convert a number into a string? Well, I just showed you earlier when we want to concatenate a number with a string. Let's say I want to print 18 with an 8. To do that, I'm gonna print and convert my 8 into a string, then add teen. What you should get is 18. Well, let me take off the space, it will be better. And we got 18. Now, another reason why you want to convert a number into a string, let's say you want to reverse that number. Well, numbers in Python can't be reversed. Let's say I use the reversed function, reversed, and I mentioned inside the x variable. Do you think it will work? Well, we got a type error. It says integer object is not reversible. Well, by all means, integers or numbers in a whole cannot be reversed. So I'm going to show you a way to reverse a number by converting it into a string. Let's say I want to reverse 12. First, I will convert it into a string. So strx. Now I'm going to teach you a method to reverse a string. I'm going to say print x brackets double colon and -1. This method is called slicing and we got 21. Well, let's say you want your output as an integer. All you need to do is delete this and write x equals x and the slicing method, then convert x back to an integer and let's print x and we should get 21. We got 21. Next, let's convert a string into an integer. Well, we have this string over here, and I want to add 23 with 12, let's say. If I said print z plus 12, well, we'll get an error. And that's because we cannot concatenate strings with integers. So to do that, I need to convert my string into an integer by using the int function, and then we will get 35. Now, a little exercise. You see the string over here? First, I want to convert it into a Boolean value, then convert it into an integer. Now we know that Boolean values has only two possible values, true or false. And we also know that false represents 0 and true represents 1. First, let's start by converting it into a Boolean value. To do that, I'm gonna use the bool keyword, which is bool, and then let me run my program. We should get true. And I didn't got true, that's because I had true in my string. I got true because my string is not null. That means if I give an empty string, I should get false. Now I'm gonna leave it true, and we run my program, we will get true. Okay, we know that the Boolean value true represents 1. So how to convert it into an integer? Well, by using the int function. So I'm gonna do it on one line. Alright, int, and then add a parentheses, and we should get 1. Let's try it with false. So if I give an empty string, let's say, I should get 0. Yep, we got it. Alright, that is it for typecasting or converting data to another type. Okay, thanks for watching. This is TechCent, and see you in the next one.